And now, Mike's Thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, week 4 of the NFL season is officially here. That means one thing and one thing only. If you are in a Survivor Pick'em series, you are probably screwed at this particular point. Because let's be honest, nobody had the Bengals losing to the Patriots week 1. Nobody had the Minnesota Vikings beating the San Francisco 49ers the following week. Nobody had the New Orleans Saints going into Dallas and absolutely whooping that ass. Let's just be flat out honest. So, with that being said, week 4 is here and we are up for an amazing, amazing adventure. If you guys would like to win $2,000, that's right, $2,000, click on the link in the description below for your chance to win $2,000 for the NFL Week 4 Pick'em man-hour style. $2,000 is the grand prize. However, this week we are giving a NFL jersey. So sit back and buckle up as we break down the Week 4 NFL games. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah. From the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
Mark, can you hear me?
I can hear you, bro.
Oh, my bad. So apparently I had mute the whole time. That's my bad. I was on mute the whole time, Mark. I gave a nice long spiel about how amazing of a person you are, and it was on mute the whole time. But guys, welcome to the show. Mark, what's going on, man?
I'm good. What's up, Buckmeister? That's what I'm gonna start calling you now. It's similar to your name, and I like the way it sounds.
So Buckmeister, huh?
Buckmeister.
It is what it is. But guys, before I was rudely muted by myself, I said, if you guys want to win $2,000, click on the link in the description below. Win $2,000 for the grand prize, but this week we're giving a Week 4 NFL jersey. So if you guys want to enter the Man Hour NFL Pick'em, click on the link in the description below. The winner gets the NFL jersey. So if you're a Raiders fan, I'll get you a Raiders jersey. If you're a Broncos fan, I'll get you a Broncos jersey. If you're a Chargers fan, I'm sorry, I'll still get you a Chargers jersey. But, Mark, we have 13 games to break down. We've got 13 games on Sunday that we're going to talk about. We're going to preview, and we're going to tell you guys how each team can respectively win. But before we get too carried away, we got to get some people in the chat here. We got Wayne G is in the chat. It says, I can't hear you. I know, Wayne. I know. That's my bad. Derek says, hey, your song's still playing, though. Hey. It's a great song, isn't it? It's a great song. Jim Pal is in the chat as well. He says, are we supposed to hear something? Man, you all fucking dicks, man. And then Jim says, he's a Broncos fan. God knew you were muting when you were lying. So apparently I muted you the whole time, Mark, just because you're a Broncos fan. And then we got the OG of the show. We got Mr. Alpha Rob in the show tonight as well. Alpha Rob, stick around because we are going to be talking about your Buffalo Bills. And Yeah, no, I'm not breaking it down. So Mark is going to give you some great knowledge of the Buffalo Bills, Alpha Rob. So I would say basically, don't suck like Combsy like always does. No, I'm totally kidding. But guys, Mark and I are going to go through each and every team today, telling you guys how each and team can particularly win said games. So Mark, let's go ahead and get started here very, very first here. The first game of the docket that we're going to talk about are the New Orleans Saints taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The Saints right now, guys, are 2-1 with wins over the Panthers and Cowboys the first 2 weeks, and then they kind of got stubbed by the Philadelphia Eagles come week 3. And then the Atlanta Falcons right now are sitting at 1-2. They lost opening week versus the Pittsburgh Steelers 18-10, and then they beat the Eagles 22-21 on a Saquon Barkley dropped pass, and then they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 22-17 respectively. So, Mark, the Saints right now have a 51% chance of winning this game. How can the Saints win this game?
Well, after researching all these games today, after you told me we're going to be breaking these down, number one, I put down 3 points for each teams that we're going through, to just 3 keys of the game I think will help them win. Number one for New Orleans, their defense needs to keep playing like they are. Their defense has been balling out. Second, their run game needs to get back on track. They're very good in the outside run game. Last week, that was taken away. Alvin Kamara didn't have a good game, and Alvin Kamara is huge to getting their run and pass game back on track.
Yeah, so the one thing that I do like about the Saints, Mark, is their ability to score points. They had 91 points the first 2 weeks this season, and the last time they did that, they did win the Super Bowl. Week 3, they kind of hit a snag. But I am here to talk about the Atlanta Falcons. And I think the Falcons have a really good shot of winning this game, mainly because of Mother Nature. Let's just be honest. Every time something catastrophic happens, like did in Florida and Atlanta, through the Carolinas up to Kentucky and Tennessee, we got hit hard. It is ridiculous. That team, that community always rallies around and goes and be loud. The Falcons are at home. They are in a dome. So that thing is going to be loud. It is going to be rocking. It is going to be tough for the Saints to play. So the key factor, number one, is to jump out early. Whether it's taking the ball even though you won the toss, whether it's a big turnover, or whether it's just just dominating 3-and-out defense. So I think they have to jump out early. They have to show their dominance early in this game. Step number 2, Kirk Cousins has to ball out. Kirk Cousins, I thought, was the Achilles heel, no pun intended, for this Atlanta Falcons team. When I first looked at the Falcons roster earlier this season, I was like, yeah, they have a pretty good roster on paper, but Kirk Cousins. What about Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins. That was the biggest question mark all off season. Can Kirk Cousins come out and perform? Step number 2 for the Falcons to win this game, Kirk Cousins has to ball out. He has to throw for 300 yards. He has to throw 3 tutties. Number 3 is that the Falcons front 7 has to rattle Derek Carr. They have to get to him early. They have to hit him often. I believe versus the Eagles, he had 7 or 12 hurry-ups in the first half alone. The Falcons have to get to him early and often in this particular game. So, Mark, when you hear my thoughts on this game and I hear your thoughts in this game, who do you think is going to win this game? Is it going to be the Saints and the Falcons, and why? Or the Falcons, I should say.
Well, I think it's going to be the Saints. Like I said earlier, my earlier point, New Orleans defense has played really well. The only reason they really lost is because they got gashed by 2 big plays at the very end of the game. A 65-yarder by Saquon and a 61-yarder by Goddard. Other than that, they shut those down. They win the game. So I just think that they're going to do the same thing to Atlanta.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm picking the Falcons because as much as I think the Saints are going to do well this season, I think they are going to get 12 to 13 wins. I just think the Falcons have a lot of favoritism on their side for this week. The Storm, the fans, and the community need something to rally behind, and I think they're going to be really, really there. So I'm picking the Falcons. You got the Saints in this particular game. So people, in the comments below, if you see this, we have Saints versus Falcons. The wow emoji for the Saints, the heart emoji for the Falcons. Let me know who do you guys got and who do you guys got and who and like and why. So, guys, let's go ahead and jump over into the comments here. Wayne G's says the key to this game is to start Michael Penix. Wayne, you are Mark, you are laughing about this. Like, why are you laughing about this?
Oh, I'm not laughing about the topic. I'm just laughing that, of course, Wayne's chiming in and wants Michael Penix to start. Like,
right.
I just know him. He's a good guy, and I just knew that was his opinion on him. So it just makes me laugh that, of course, he said that.
Yeah, man, and honestly, I am with Wayne G. You went out, you spent a first-round pick on Michael Penix Jr. Kirk Cousins really hasn't been living up to the hype per se. Why not start Michael Penix Jr.? Like, why, I mean, I guess $180 million reasons why it's not to start him, I guess, but it is what it is. But Wayne, I like Michael Penix Jr. I liked him when like he was here at Indiana, and I loved him when he was in Washington. Kevin Cummings is in the chat. He says, at the Titans, go Dirty Birds. I don't know what the Titans have to are in this conversation, but hey, go Dirty Birds. Do the Dirty Bird swag, right? Mike McSwagger is in the chat. He says, Demario Davis is out. That will help Kirk Cousins. And also the Saints center is out as well. Yeah. You say he is a beast. Like, what makes him a beast? You like you think, Mark?
I just think he's like the key to their defense. You know, most of the time the linebacker is the guy that, gets all the play calls and he gets everybody in line. He's just super important to them. So him being out is huge.
Yeah, I mean, of course, anytime you have a starter out, obviously it's very, 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 very big. Mick McSwagger thinks that the Saints are going to win this game. Thank you for your thoughts on that. Biggest Brown fan says start on the Browns. We'll be talking about the Browns here in 4 games. They are our 5th game on the dot. No, that's the Broncos. I'm sorry. The where are the Browns?
Come on, get it together.
They are game 11, so they're the afternoon game. So we got a little while before we talk on the Browns, but we definitely will be talking about the Browns. And Kevin Cummings says Carr is going to do Carr things. Eventually, he'll go back to being shitty. He does this every season. Mark, you as a Broncos fan, me as a Chiefs fan, we kind of know this firsthand. Like, do you think Kevin's right?
I kind of do, man. After them being so good these first 3 weeks, I'm kind of waiting for it. I'm like, I keep thinking in my head, what is the key? Why is he playing so well? Like, is it really Clint Kubiak that's like dialing up these play calls? It's just really working out? Or is it finally all clicking for him? I'm not sure.
Yeah, and to be honest, the Raiders always Raider things, and I think mainly it was because of Derek Carr, right? Derek Carr and the Raiders were always good for 8 games, whether it's 8 games beginning of the year or 8 games at the end of the season. They could never put a full 16, 17 game together. So, Kevin, I think you're right. I think Derek Carr will eventually do Derek Carr things and become shitty. I just don't think it's going to be like consecutively. He'll have back-to-back bad games because I do think the Falcons will come out on top on this one, but they'll get back on track eventually. Mick McSwagger says Atlanta has 2 starting linemen out. Cousins might have happy feet. See, Mick, the good thing about Kirk Cousins is he can have all the happy feet he wants, but he's so slow that he could be moving those feet a million miles a minute, but he's not going to get out of the pocket. He's still going to sit there. He's still going to, die and knows the defense and still do well. The good thing about Kirk Cousins is it's not a primetime game, and he is a great quarterback when it's non-primetime games. So Mick McSwagger also says Carr needs a great O-line to play with. Philly was on his ass. Yeah. He was. they were. Biggest Brown fan says Drake London and Kyle Pitts need to step up, which Kyle Pitts, I was almost ready, Mark, to give him the bust label we'll be honest. What the Falcons drafted him, like 4th or 5th overall? And hell, he didn't score a touchdown his first whole season, was the first season and a half. I was like, and then finally,
that was ridiculous.
Yeah, and like a lot of and finally you're like, you saw him like, hey, he scored a touchdown. Things are looking up, and he kind of went back in the shadows. But now, last game, he did kind of step up a little bit. Is Kyle Pitts a key to the Atlanta Falcons' success, Mark, one way or the other?
I think so. I think just because you need him to play well, like you said, he didn't score his whole first year. He finally has a decent quarterback that can get him the ball. So if they don't utilize him this year, it really will be a bust.
Yeah. So would you trade him?
I mean, you probably could get something for him. You could. I don't know if I necessarily would if I was a GM because I'm kind of like you. I'd want to be wait and see to see what happens still. But I don't know. It's a possibility.
Yeah, but at some point it's kind of shit or get off the pot time. But Wayne G said it's just slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Pitts could be a late bloomer like David Njoku. Could be. We will see. And Kevin Cummings says blame Pitts on the lack of production from the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. We could. We could, or we could also blame all the drops that he had as well. Before we get into the next game here, Kevin Cummings wants to see Kirk Cousins do the Dirty Bird. Wouldn't that be some shit if they actually brought the Dirty Bird back?
I bet you it comes back this year. I bet you. Just wait, man.
Because they was it the Divas that kind of did it last game? Like they tried to do it, but it was like they're like, maybe not.
Right.
It is what it is. Next game up on the docket here. We do have the Rams taking on the Chicago Bears. Right now, the Rams are 1-2 on the season, along with the Chicago Bears as well. Right now, per ESPN.com API, the Rams have a 51% chance of winning Sunday's game. Mark, with the Rams having a 51% chance of winning this game, tell me how the Rams can actually win this game.
Well, the one thing that really was key to the Rams last week beating the 49ers was their rush. Kyron Williams, that guy is really playing like really well. So I feel like and plus Chicago's defense gave up a shit ton of yards last week. So they should be able to take advantage of that. But the one thing I keep thinking about, Keenan Allen is supposed to be back this week finally after injury. I feel like they got to really watch him.
So you think if the Rams shut down Keenan Allen, that will be the key of the success?
Well, I mean, their offense really hasn't looked great, and so they finally have another guy there that could help them out. You know, maybe give Odunze single coverage. Who knows? But yeah, they need to focus on that.
See, how I think the Bears could potentially win this game is the offensive line needs to step up and give Caleb Williams just a little bit more time, just a little bit more protection. Yes, Caleb Williams does hang on to the ball for an extended period of time. He actually has the longest held ball in the NFL from snap until pass release. That is his average, not an outlier. That is his average. So he has the average holdest long time in the NFL. So key number one for the Chicago Bears this week is a nice offensive line. Give Caleb Williams time to really analyze that Rams defense, because let's just be honest, ever since Aaron Donald has gone away, the Rams defense has really not lived up to much expectations. Number two is I think DJ Moore needs to get out of his own head. DJ Moore has been deemed this cancer in the locker room. He has been seen yelling on the sidelines at Caleb Williams and coaches, and he kind of seems to be like a Stephon Diggs almost to an extent. So I think getting DJ Moore the ball early and often will definitely help this Bears offense and kind of hush him up for the time being. Next up is I think you have to get pressure on Matthew Stafford. Montez Sweat and DeMarcus Walker definitely has to pin their ears back and go get the ball. They have to go get Matthew Stafford over and over and over again. What is Matthew Stafford's biggest flaws is that he does get injured a lot, to be honest. Yes, he is strong as nails, but he gets injured a lot, and right now he is nursing that sore shoulder. So with that being said, the Rams do have a 51% chance of going into Chicago and beating the Chicago Bears. Mark, who are you taking?
I got the Rams, man. I think, like you said, Matthew Stafford's hurt and he's strong, but dude, he's like an Iron Man. And I feel like he's the type that the more he's hurt, the better he plays. And not only is he hurt, but their whole team has really dealt with a ton of injuries. He has no Kupp, no Puka Nacua, and he's still balling out. So yeah, I think I'm going with the Rams.
Yeah, I'm actually going with the Rams as well. Even though Cooper Kupp is out yet again, Tutu Atwell is starting to kind of make a name for himself. He is definitely kind of being that X factor for the LA Rams. But I really like the Rams' run offense. Keenan Williams and Ronnie Rivers has kind of been that nice little 1-2 punch that the Rams have been kind of seeking for a long time. They moved away from Cam Akers this off season. Oh, it wasn't Cam Akers. Mark, help me out. Who was their running back last season? Austin Eckler, right? No, it was Cam Akers.
Oh, it was Cam Akers.
Yeah. So they moved on from Cam, gave Kyron the keys to the kingdom, and he is definitely balled out. So I'm picking the Rams. Mark is picking the Rams as well. So guys, here in the comments below, wow or heart emoji. Wow for the LA Rams, heart for the Chicago Bears. Who are you guys taking? Who are you guys taking? So let's go ahead and jump over here into the comments. Let's get that off of the screen. Pepe's in the chat. Says, what's the problem with the Chiefs' red zone offense? We'll be talking about the Chiefs here momentarily. Pepe, stay back. I'm pissed off about the Kansas City Chiefs. Carson says Cousins would tear something if he tried to do the dirty bird. 100% facts. 100% facts. Do not even get that man an opportunity to get heard again. Biggest Brown fan says Caleb Williams need to show me something before he turns into an author. Or turns into another, I guess. Another what? Another bust? Or, I mean, Mark, first things first, were you high on Caleb Williams coming out of the draft, or were you kind of like, maybe he needs to show me first?
I was that guy, Buck. Like, dude, I hate that they throw the word around generational with these guys. Like, they said the same thing about Trevor Lawrence, and I really haven't seen anything generational about him yet. So whenever they slap that on a guy, I really don't like it because it puts so much pressure on him, more than they already have. And I feel like he has all this pressure, and that could be why he's struggling right now. So
I have been deemed kind of this Caleb Williams hater, right? Basically, I am a realist. I come with Mark. Slow it down. Let the man, play a NFL season before we start crowning this guy to be in the world's best quarterback ever. Wayne G, Mark, I kind of know if you knew this, but Wayne G said if you built a quarterback in a lab, it would be Trevor Lawrence. Like the perfect arm strength, the perfect hair, the perfect height, everything. He's like, Trevor Lawrence, come here, right? Wayne G loved him some Trevor Lawrence. But as much as I dog Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams is steadily improving each and every week. So, biggest Brown fan, what do you what do you want to see from him? Do you want to see a 400-yard passing game? Do you want to see a 5-touchdown game? Like, what do you want to see? Mark, try to explain to me, what do you think the biggest Brown fan wants to see from Caleb Williams this week?
I want to say less off script stuff. He relies too much on his athletic ability to go and do that, and a lot of times it's not gonna happen like it does in college in the NFL, like he thinks it will, and he needs to play more from the pocket. So I think that's more the key to him being successful, is playing more in the pocket.
Yeah, and being able to play in the pocket is better offensive line play, because if you look at bad offensive line in the dictionary, it has the Chicago Bears next to it 100%. Carson Lang says the Rams will win by just letting the Bears do what they have done. So the Bears are going to Bears, says Carson Lang. More than likely. Wayne G says a healthy Keenan Allen is arguably the best receiver in the NFL. His return equals Caleb Williams' first big game. Mark, when you see that, what do you first initially think?
It's what I said earlier. Like, you got to watch Keenan Allen. He was the best wide receiver last year, and he's going to be coming back. And like I was saying, he might get some single coverages because of all the guys they have wide receiver wise.
Yeah. Just basically wait until he strains a hammy again, or a knee or something. I don't know. Whatever. It's just a matter of time. Biggest Brown fan says Caleb Williams needs to show me more. Needs to show me something before he turns into a Justin Fields. Mark, what is your thoughts on Justin Fields? Because I can go in on the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields all all night long. Do you think the Browns or the Bears messed up by Justin Fields by letting him go, or did they do right?
I don't know. They were kind of in a sticky situation because they drafted Fields not knowing that they were going to be able to draft Caleb later. So it's one of those things where kind of like the Colts when they had Manning, sort of, not exactly the same, but sort of how when they had Manning, but he was hurt, he hadn't been playing, and they were like, hey, we have a chance to draft Andrew Luck. So they did it. So I feel like it's one of those scenarios where not necessarily they didn't do right by Fields. It's just a better opportunity came up and they had to take it.
I think the better opportunity would have been able to put players around Justin Fields and a coaching staff that was competent, and he would have been doing much what he is doing now, being a average quarterback, leading the Browns or to the Bears to a 3-0 start of the season. But hey, it is what it is. Kevin says Bears are still trash, and Williams going to be another QB not to throw for 4,000 yards. I mean, that's facts. The Bears have never had a quarterback to throw over 4,000 yards in a season. Did you know that, Mark?
I did know that, and I actually thought he was going to be able to do it.
Never. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Nathan Wheeler's in the chat. He says, what up, man hour? What up, Nathan? Hope you're having a grand old night. Kevin said, Allen used to be one of the best receivers in the league, not now. And I concur with that. He had the potential to be a top 5 receiver. He had the potential to get paid those dollar bills, y'all, but he could never stay healthy. And he wasted his career being on the IR, being in LA or San Diego or whatever city you want to claim. Mark, is Keenan Allen still a top receiver?
I have to say right now, no, because he hasn't played. He's living up to his name of being always injured. So no, he's not the best receiver anymore. Until he can be consistent every week and have a year like he did last year, then we can say that. But that last year was his one good year that he had. So I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I will see. Nathan Robert Wheeler wants to know, should Tua stop playing? Me personally, no. I mean, right until the wheels fall off, I guess. What are your thoughts, Mark?
I don't think it's fair for any of us to tell him to stop playing. It's his decision, totally up to him.
Yeah. His wife and family needs to definitely figure that out. Kevin is taking the Rams in this particular name, and Alpha Rob looks like he is taking the Rams as well. And Kevin says Lawrence generationally talent sucks. not wrong. Alpha Rob says Williams not looking good at all. But he's not looking great, but he's not looking terrible though either. He's looking like a rookie quarterback. Let's just be honest, right? Right, Mark?
Yeah, like all these guys, even my boy Nix, he finally had a really good game last week, but it's still, the jury's still out on him, so we still got to wait and see.
Yeah. It's kind of like it is kind of like, yeah, you had one good game. Now do it two or 3 or 4 games in it, like in a row, and then you can prove it. Just like Kevin says, all players need to prove it. Derek says, if Chicago the number 1 pick again, so he's saying the Chicago Bears will have the number 1 pick again. So it sounds like he's taking the Rams.
Damn, again, the number 1 pick again?
Well,
that would be crazy.
Don't they still have another number 1 pick from the Panthers still from the Bryce Young?
They do. That's what I mean. It's like, but my point is, are they going to just throw Caleb out the window like for 1 year? Like, come on.
They'll move down and get some offensive line help. But next up, moving on to the next game here. We had the Rams Bears. Then we had the Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. The Vikings have a surprising 3-0 start to the season, and the Packers kind of have a surprising 2-1 start after losing Jordan 1 the last play of the game of Week 1. He did miss Week 2 and Week 3, but he is active to play Week 4. As of right now, the Green Bay Packers have a 54% chance of winning this game. Mark, tell me how the Vikings can pull the upset over the Packers this week.
Well, Sam Darnold needs to keep playing how he's playing. I'm been calling it the Darnold Redemption Tour. Nobody expected him to come out and play this well with Minnesota. So that's key number 1. Just keep playing the way he's playing, and they'll be okay. 2, he's been playing really good. Last week he had a really good game, but besides that, like their his O line was not good. He still had 4 sacks on 28 attempts, so that needs to be better. And then the third thing I was thinking about is Aaron Jones is going back to Green Bay, the team that didn't want him anymore. They discarded him for Josh Jacobs. He went to Minnesota strictly to play for them and like for this game. I think he needs to have a revenge game because last week he had a good game, 19 attempts, 102 yards.
So it sounds like you thinking the running game is going to be a key, and Sam Darnold being Sam Darnold as of late. I can concur with that. However, the Green Bay Packers have one of the top defenses in the NFL right now. McKinney, right, has an interception every game so far this season. And I think for the Packers to win this game, he needs to continue to do that. They need to pick off Sam Darnold at least twice in this game because I feel Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, who is supposed to play this week, they're going to try to push the ball down the field early and often. If the defense shows that they are the top pass-rated defense in the NFL that they are going to shut down Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings. Number 2 is they have to do what they've been doing the last couple weeks. Yes, I know Jordan Love will probably start this week's game. Yes, he will probably try to throw for 200 or 300 yards. They need to run the ball. They need to take the ball out of the Minnesota Vikings' hands, and their best defense right now is going to be their offense, keeping the Minnesota Vikings offense off of the field. The Vikings offense has been clicking on all cylinders right now, and you kind of need to derail that a little bit. And the last aspect of the game is if Jordan Love does play like I expect him to play, do not anticipate him playing 100%. Do not anticipate him being the Jordan Love like he was versus the Dallas Cowboys. Do not anticipate him being the Jordan Love the last half of the season. He has 2 weeks of rust on him. Let him ease back into this game and really kind of welcome back to the NFL per se. So, Mark, with that being said, Green Bay Packers do have a 50% chance of winning this game. Who are you taking, the Vikings or the Packers?
Even though I'm backing up the Minnesota in this one, I think Green Bay is going to win. I think Jordan Love coming back is going to be the key.
Yeah, and I like this divisional matchup. I like the Minnesota Vikings being on cloud 9 right now, being 3-0. I like the Packers getting a nice grungy win last week versus the Tennessee Titans. And I like the fact that Jordan Love is coming back for this division rival game. This game could potentially determine the NFC North, Mark. And I think the Green Bay Packers come out and they knock the Minnesota Vikings off from the undefeated aspect. I just think the Packers are a better all-around team, and they're built to do this. And I think Aaron Jones is going to try to play like he has never played before, kind of that Hercules Superman role, and that's ultimately going to come back and bite him in the back, like bite him in the butt, because Kevin Cummings says right here, Aaron Jones says he's doing the Lambeau leap if he scores. I mean, like, you are going to try to force Aaron Jones the ball in this game, like, I think, just so he can do that. And I think that's ultimately going to hurt the Minnesota Vikings. Do you think it would be smart for Aaron Jones to do the Lambeau leap?
No, dude. Like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard, to be honest. It's like, they're loyal to their team, bro, not you.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find some Minnesota Vikings fans like in the little corner, like the group of like 5 or 6 that are like always there, maybe try to go see that. But it is what it is. But guys, in the comments below, let us know, who do you got, the Vikings or the Packers? And if you want to enter the Week 4 NFL Pick'em, there's a link. There's a pinned link down there in the description below. Click on that link. It takes you to a Google Doc. It gives you a chance to win an NFL jersey this week, and it gets you entered in a chance to win $2,000 as well. And Derek says the winner of this game is going to come down to the kicker. Who has the better kicker? Well, clearly the Packers have the better kicker, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think the Packers have one of the best kickers in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. My man Jameson is in the chat as well. He says Packers because Jordan Love is back. Sam Darnold will return to form, and the Vikings bubble will pop, and they will fluke like they are. So I want to talk about Sam Darnold a little bit, because I talked a little bit about this on Thursday's show. I was going to go more depth to it on Friday's show, but the hurricane hit here and we had flooding and all that stuff. But that's besides the point. But I said Sam Darnold has proven himself to be a pretty resilient, pretty reliable quarterback. Once he's had a little bit of coaching with Kevin O'Connell and Kyle Shanahan, he's easily a top 13 quarterback in the NFL right now. It shows you how important coaching actually is in the NFL. Carolina, he was what, a 4-string quarterback? Jets, he was absolutely terrible. And now in the Vikings, he's potentially a top 13 quarterback. Do you think this run, Mark, by Sam Darnold is just a fluke? Or is this actually the Sam Darnold that we kind of expected when he was drafted by the Jets?
I don't think it's a fluke. It's like you said, for me, it's always been about the right fit. You know, I'm a firm believer that guys like the guys that get drafted early in the first round, they need to go to a team with an offensive minded head coach. I'm sorry, but when you go to a team that has a defensive head coach, he's not worrying about your development. You know, like the structure isn't there for him to improve and be better. So he got a raw deal. He went to the Jets. The Jets didn't know how to develop him. He goes to Carolina. They obviously don't know what the hell they're doing. And then now he went to Shanahan, who actually knows what he's doing. Like I said, an offensive-minded head coach. And then now he goes to Kevin Conn, who also is that way. So, yeah, I can see him doing well.
Yeah, and I also kind of want to add to the point that Jameson is a 49ers fan, so he knows about decent quarterback play, and it isn't a coincidence that every quarterback that comes to San Francisco under the Kyle Shanahan system is a decent quarterback. I mean, maybe he's just a good coach. Maybe it's not the system. Maybe he could actually coach, right? Because Jimmy G, decent quarterback. He went to the Raiders, shit, right? Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Nobody thought he was going to do anything in the NFL. Look at him now, right? Now, the only outlier could be Trey Lance, but that really wasn't a Kyle Shanahan system guy. If I don't yeah, they drafted him, but he never really got an opportunity, right? He was kind of just thrown in the fire, said, good luck, buddy. But it is what it is. Jameson also says, hot take here, says every undefeated team will lose except for Kansas City this week. Ooh, okay.
Interesting.
Slow it down. Alpha Rob, my man is picking the Packers, but he also says that the Ghost Man, Darnold is balling though. He's definitely Sam Darnold is probably leader of the comeback player of the year right now, right, Mark?
Well, they said they changed the rules of the comeback player of the year. Like you can't just come back from sucking. Like that's not part. Like you have to like come back from injury or something like that. So he's not even a candidate.
Oh, really? So being a backup quarterback on a team going to another team and starting is not candidate?
I mean, it could be, but I don't know. I'm not totally sure. Like I said, they changed the rules, and I think there's the rule. There's changed it. So just because of that, they don't want players who just played bad and all of a sudden get a comeback player of the year. You know,
probably like Joe Flacco that come back and play good for 4 games and like, oh, comeback player of the year. Okay, 4 games, awesome.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. So
whatever. Derek says jumping in the crowd is a good way to get a free beer and some nachos. So, yeah. So if you are the Green Bay Packers, if you are the ownership or the general manager and you're at the concession stands, you know, like you're a local high school team running the concession stand that particular game, you hope Aaron Jones finds the end zone twice because, I mean, there's 20 more beers. Boom, sold, and that's a couple $100, right? $18 a pop. Get you some bread, man. Get you some bread. Jamin says, unless San Francisco actually taught him to play quarterback, then he just is still below average. Kevin O'Connell's a good coach, Mark, right? I mean,
I think so. Mm-hmm. I agree because we had the chance to hire him. I still don't understand why we didn't hire him and we hired fucking Nathaniel Hackett. So stupid.
Yeah, but that's besides the point because they were trying to get Aaron Rodgers.
I know. It just pisses me off because we could have had him because he's a great coach. And I love all the coaches that come from the Shanahan tree. All of them had success. All of them keep showing success. Like they're the best coaches in the league.
Alpha Rob says that Sam Darnold could be a late bloomer like Rich Gannon was. We will see. We'll see. Like Jameson said, we'll see. Yeah, he also won a Super Bowl, right? Or at least took him to the Super Bowl with the Raiders.
Yep. Yep.
Carson Lanning says Darnold also said he learned how to play to study football from Brock Purdy. Interesting. I didn't know that. That's an interesting take. Kevin Cummings says Josh Allen was drafted by a defensive-minded coach. He's doing awesome.
Yeah, but he had good coordinators. He had Brian Dable, who's a great coordinator, and now he's got Joe Brady, who's another offensive great coordinator.
Yeah.
So you could have an offensive-minded head coach, but you got to have an offensive-minded somewhere to help the structure.
Yeah. Also, if you think about it, the year that he had, quote, a down year, which was last season, they fired that offensive coordinator mid-season. Insert Joe Brady. Insert 8 games in a row. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of coaching. Tiaco 2.6 just subbed. Thank you for subscribing. We definitely appreciate that. Carson says just going to say it. Hamlin didn't even win comeback player of the year, and he literally died on the field. And Carson, I'm just going to say it. Don't shoot the messenger. DeMar Hamlin was not a very good player. I'm just you kind of have to have a successful season. I believe last year he played maybe 15 snaps. So
he wasn't even a starter, dude.
Yeah. So Jameson's.
I'm with you, Buck.
And Jameson is defending Trey Lance here, or defending the 49ers, of course. He says Trey Lance was a dumb draft pick. He was never fit for the San Francisco 49ers. True. But guys, let us know, Vikings or Packers. Who do you got? Next up on the list here, another 3-3-0 team. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, a surprising 3-0 to some, not to me. Actually, having starting the season off 9-1 versus the 1-2 Indianapolis Colts. Mark, right now the Pittsburgh Steelers have a 54% chance of winning this game. Tell me how the Pittsburgh Steelers can go into Indianapolis, Indiana, and beat the Colts this weekend.
Okay, so my 3 keys to this game. Number 1, Justin Fields is coming off the best game he's played this season. He had 245 yards, a touchdown, but he did throw a pick. He had overall 96 rating, which isn't bad. One thing he needs to do, he needs to avoid sacks. Their Pittsburgh offensive line is atrocious, and he's got the feet to move around, so he needs to avoid that. Like, he had 4 sacks against Indy last week. That's not going to work. Also, their run game needs to get going. The run game wasn't good last week. They had 28 attempts for 63 yards. That's not going to do it. And lastly, their defense has been playing solid. I think the whole reason why they've been winning is because their defense is so freaking good. And I think the biggest thing is them shutting down Jonathan Taylor. That is their biggest offensive threat. Indy, he had 110 yards last week, 2 touchdowns. That guy's a beast.
Yeah, so I concur with everything that you said. Defense is definitely key for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, Justin Fields balling is a big thing. But I think the Indianapolis Colts can, quote, pull off the upset this weekend. I really think if they run the ball with Jonathan Taylor over and over and over again, run it right at TJ Watt and that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, they can have some success. Right now, Jonathan Taylor has 261 yards so far this season, which is good for 7th in the NFL. And I think if you continue to tote him the rock, he could definitely break 15, 16, 1,700 yards this season. Next up is kind of take the training wheels off of Anthony Richardson. Yes, I understand you want to protect him from himself, but what made Anthony Richardson so great in college was his ability to roll the pocket and the ability to scramble when he needed, much like Lamar Jackson does, right? The ability to stretch the play. And right now the Colts are kind of handicapping him, forcing him to stay in the pocket. I think if they just let him play and let him be him, they will do well. Next up is, I think, the defense. The defense has kind of been a unsung hero for the Indianapolis Colts per se. They are quietly, putting up some decent numbers week after week after week. Yes, they are 1-2, but if you look at the Houston Texans game, they held the Houston Texans to under 30 points. They held the Green Bay Packers under 16 points, and then they held the Chicago Bears last week under 16 points as well. That defense is starting to click and get better and better and better. So let JT run the ball, take the training wheels off of Anthony Richardson, and let that defense just eat. Get pressure on Justin Fields, force him to make some upsets. So, Mark, I giving you my spiel, you giving me your spiel. Who do you got? Pittsburgh Steelers or the Indianapolis Colts in this week's game?
Even though my spiel was about the Steelers, I think you're right. I think if they let off the chains of Richardson and let him run more than throw, because his accuracy is bad. It's really bad. So maybe if they could just get him going run-wise, that would help them. And I can see them giving the ball to Taylor a whole lot. So, yeah, I can see them winning. I'm going Indy.
Yeah, I am going Indianapolis Colts as well, as I do have the Pittsburgh Steelers starting off the season 9-1 this season. The one loss was to the Indianapolis Colts. Because whether you like it or not, Mark, Indy is a tough place to play. It is obnoxiously loud all the time, and it just feels weird. Every time I've been to a Colts game, rooting for the for the opposing team, whether it be the Chiefs or the Cowboys or anybody but the Colts, I'm just like, man, you guys are freaking obnoxious. Just shut up. Like, I can't even hear myself thinking there, because, well, it is a dome and it just echoes and it is just consistent. But I think the Colts defense really steps up and really wants to flex on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, you know what? We have a good team as well. Sam wants a final score prediction on this game. A final score prediction, Mark.
Do you know what the spread number is?
Let me look. Are you looking about the over or under or the actual spread?
The over under.
Where's it at here? Let me click on it. Bada bing, bada boom. The over under is 40.5 and is a 2.5 spread in favor of the Steelers.
Maybe 21-24 and they cover.
I think the first person or the first team to break 16 points wins this game. So it'd be a 16-13, 16-12 type of score in favor of the Colts. So I like the Colts as well in a low scoring game. Jameson says the Colts win if they run the ball successfully and get in the end zone, because the Steelers struggle to score touchdowns.
That is true. I want to say, was it their first game? No, their second game, where they only scored field goals in the game. They didn't score a single touchdown.
Yep. They went to the red zone, I believe, 5 times in that particular time and walked away with 0 touchdowns each and every time. However, last week they did score 3. So maybe they're starting to trend up a little bit. Kevin is saying, obviously you don't watch Buffalo Bills game. We were referring to last year. Damar Hamlin only played like 13 snaps last season. He is starting this season, and he is actually playing well. I will give you guys that. Derek says, got this. Richardson about to ball out. Colts is listen, if Anthony Richardson lives up to half of the hype that he was given to, I mean, we have to understand, the Colts drafted a project quarterback, and they knew they drafted a project quarterback. That's why they had Gardner Minshew as a backup last season to kind of teach him and kind of like not get thrown to the wolves. Well, he goes down, week 3, insert Gardner Minshew, and we never see Anthony Richardson on the sideline because he's, healing and like all that stuff. This season, he doesn't have that backup figure. He doesn't have that fatherly figure or the mentor figure. So he definitely is a rookie still wet behind the ears. And this is his 7th NFL game. So just keep that in mind.
But he does have Flacco there. Flacco's been in the league a long time. I'm not necessarily sure he's the type to mentor him. I don't know. Like you're right. He is a project. And now he's finally getting the chance to show, because he, like you said, he was hurt last year. So now it's the time for Willie to see what he can do. But it's like you said, you gotta play to what he does well.
Yeah. So here's the problem with Flacco. He was retired last season. The Browns called him. He was literally on his couch just living life. The only reason why he come back
with his 9 kids.
Yeah. The only reason why he come back this year is because he thought he could be a starter in the NFL. That's the only reason why he come back. Truth of the matter is, nobody wanted you last year. Nobody really wanted you this year. The Colts drafted you, got you by default. Like, Sam Ehlinger probably isn't the guy. So Joe, come here and mentor. But like I said, I kind of think Joe is that really guy. Is that guy? He isn't very good. As in, I think they're talking about Damar Hamlin. Timothy Nicholas says the Chiefs will get their first loss of the season. Jameson saying Colts 24, Steelers 17. Okay. That's a little bit higher scoring than I was projecting, but I like it. I like it. John Pepples is in the chat. What's up, John? Speaking of pigskin pundits, John's a pigskin pundit. And Sheedy says, who is Joe Thomas? Is that Joe Thomas? Are referring to Mark or me?
I think they're referring to you, bro. You look like Joe Thomas.
Do I look like Joe Thomas?
A little bit. A little bit.
I'll go by Joe Thomas. John's saying Steelers 31, Colts 14. John, slow it down, baby. 31 points on this Colts defense. Oh, I mean, she. Alpha Rob says, Indy, I'm not sold on Fields on the road. Defense travels, though, Alpha Rob. Steelers have a top 5. Actually, I believe they're ranked 2nd overall right now in the league. Defense travels. Chiefs are going 20-0, says Jameson. Of course. Kevin Cummings says, I responded to, or they're having a conversation there in the chats. And I'm not even going to try to say this name. Can you try to say that, Mark?
Archibald
Naomi says Field is 2-0 on the road. Well, the Steelers are 3-0 this season. Like, I mean, it is. It is. Jameson says Falco should start and bring Richardson in to run occasionally.
I don't know about that.
So that's a false statement. Joe Flacco is like 38 years old. Yes, he did ball out for 4 games versus the Cleveland Browns, but look who the Browns played those last 4 games of the season. Didn't really play anybody relevant. The only time they played somebody relevant, they got blown out, and that was by the Houston Texans in the playoffs. So there's a reason why Joe Flacco was retired last season. And I was actually just on a show earlier talking about this, about the potential of the Green Bay Packers doing this as well, Mark. They said, hey, they should let Jordan Love be the quarterback from 10 to 10 and then bring in Malik inside the 10. And I said, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. And they're like, what do you mean by that? Mark, do you know what I mean? Like when I say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks?
Yes, that means that they're both terrible, and there's a reason why. Like when you have a guy, you don't really need to worry about having 2 quarterbacks. So yes, yeah.
So
no,
yeah, you need to stick with one or the other. It's Joe Flacco or Anthony Richardson, one or the other. You can't have both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I think as my wife says. John says, get you some pigskin pundits. Of course. But guys, who do you got? Who do you got? Steelers or the Colts? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, we have a game that's kind of low-key, very, very intriguing to me. This is a game that we will be streaming on our Discord. So if you guys are not a part of our Discord, click on the link below, become a Discord member. But we will be streaming this Broncos versus Jets game on our Discord. Right now, the Broncos are sitting at 1-2 on the season, coming off of arguably their best game in a very, very long time last weekend, and the Jets sitting at 2-1. Right now, Mark, the Jets have a 71% chance per ESPN API to win this game. Tell me how the Denver Broncos can go into MetLife Stadium in New Jersey and beat the New York Football Jets.
Okay, my 3 keys. Number 1, Rodgers was finally coming into form last week, kind of looking like the old Rodgers. So we got to slow down that Rodgers. He had 281 yards, 2 touchdowns. That can't happen. 2, Surtain, our lockdown corner. There's not very many lockdown corners in the league. We have one of them. He needs to shut down Garrett Wilson. I don't think Lazard or any of the other guys are really a threat to us. And then 3rd, Denver's pass defense needs to keep playing like it is. They held Baker Mayfield 163 yards, only 1 touchdown, an interception. Also, our pass rush has been playing really well. We've had 7 sacks in 33 attempts against the Bucs, which I thought was really good. And then lastly, we can't let Hall and Allen, the run game, get going. If we stop them, I feel like we can win.
Yeah, I see your run game, and I see the defense, and I'm going to raise you these 3 things. Just like you said, Aaron Rodgers is starting to look like MVP form Aaron Rodgers. But I think the first key to this week's game versus the Denver Broncos is to get to Bo Nix early and often. Rattle that young rookie quarterback. As much as well as he played last week, he is still a rookie. Like we were talking, I don't know if it was pre-show or actually during the show, Mark, we said, let a quarterback put it 2, 3, 4 games in a row before we start to, elevate him. The New York Jets do have one of the best pass rushing defenses out there, and I hope they pin their ears back and let Quentin Williams and Kinlaw go out there and eat against this Denver Broncos offensive line. Secondly, I want to see Breece Hall get 20 touches plus in this game. I don't want to see any other running back get the ball. I want to see Breece Hall really coming into his own. Of course, I'm a fantasy owner of Breece Hall, so I'd like to see him get 40, 50, 60 touches, but that's besides the point. I think if they get that running game going very, very, very well, the pass defense of the Denver Broncos is going to have to start to suck in to start to stop the run. And then the third key is once they do suck in, Mike Williams, Allen Lazard, Garrett Williams, and the rest of that receiving core is going to have some one-on-one coverage. And I think that is going to really separate them in the second half of this game. So with that being said, Mark, people in the chat below, wow emoji for the Broncos, heart emoji for the New York Football Jets. They currently have a 71% chance to win this game. Mark, who do you got winning this game and why?
Well, I don't know if you remember when we did my schedule prediction of the Broncos, I had them losing this game, and I still think they lose. We just don't play well early on the East Coast. And like you said, the Jets defense could get to Nix early. I think if we have the same game plan we went going to Tampa, we might have a shot, but I don't know. I just don't see us winning.
So you are picking the Jets in this game. And you know what? I was going to pick the Jets, but I am leaning more and more and more to the Denver Broncos side because because when we look at the Jets wins so far this season, they beat a Tennessee Titans team. Yes, it was a 24-17 win, but the Tennessee Titans right now are a bad football team. And if Will Levis wouldn't have thrown that stupid Superman interception, the Titans would have probably won that game. And then the Jets beat a bad New England Patriots team on Thursday Night Football 24-3 at home. After the Patriots had to travel, to Seattle and then come back on Thursday night. So as the Jets are 2-1, and people are starting to believe this playoff hype, believe this Super Bowl hype, I'm looking at the Denver Broncos as this dark horse Cinderella team right now. Nobody thought they were going to go into Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They sacked Baker Mayfield 7 times and they hit him like another 9 times. They had relentless pass pressure over and over and over and over again. And if the Broncos can do that to the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers, Rodgers gets pissed off. Once Rodgers gets pissed off, he starts underthrowing people. Once he starts underthrowing people, Allen Lazard, Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, and the rest of the boys started getting pissed off as well. It is a domino effect. This hurts me to say this, Mark. Like, I'm kind of vomiting.
Come on, do it. Let me hear it.
Vomiting in my mouth a little bit.
Let me hear it.
But I think this 1 o'clock game on the East Coast time is exactly what the Denver Broncos need. Another 1 o'clock early game. They're going to go into MetLife Stadium, and they're going to beat the New York Football Jets. They're going to go in there, and they're going to sack Aaron Rodgers 4 times. They're going to intercept him, and they're going to shut down the running game. This defense is something to believe in. I think the Denver Broncos go in there and they win 17-10. It is a low-scoring slug-out fest, but I think they sneak it out. A defensive touchdown is probably the deciding factor. When you hear that, sure you don't want to change your pick.
You know what, dude? I don't like ever picking against my Broncos. So, you know what? I'm going to change my pick. I'm going with my Broncos.
And I'm the same way. I hate picking against my Kansas City Chiefs, but I know at some point they're going to lose, right? But, I mean,
You convinced me.
I don't have faith in the Jets. I don't know whether it's Robert Saleh. I don't know if it's those ugly green-ass jerseys. I don't know if it's Aaron Rodgers. I don't trust the New York Jets at all. And I can't put my finger on it. So, guys, in the comments below, let us know who do you think is going to win this game. Let's scroll back up here. Kevin Cummings says New Jersey will win, but would love to see the Broncos win. He's picking the Jets. He's
Right
picking
on, Kev.
So Timothy Nicholas saying Bo Nix is good. I'm not saying Bo Nix is bad, but I'm saying let's not anoint the guy yet. Is Sean Payton the quarterback whisper? Who knows? Mark, you are there. You're in the front lines. Are you a Sean Payton lover or a hater?
For me, the jury's still out, dude. Like, this year is a big prove it year for me. It's like you got your guy that you wanted. You got rid of Russ. We have all this dead cap. So now it's like, move it or lose it, bro. Like, seriously.
Yep, shit or get out the pot time. But if Bo Nix continues to do well, Timothy, I'm kind of with you. Like, I low key kind of like Bo Nix. I just hate that he's with the Broncos too. To be honest, Jameson says Jets win easy, 31-13. John says Jets win 34-20. And Carson says, in order for the Broncos to win, Rodgers needs to blow another Achilles. Wow. No
Hey,
love.
we could do that. We the Broncos defense in the past gave Andrew Luck a lacerated kidney, so it could happen.
And then Derek says he wants to see Robert Saleh wear a Peyton wig. Jesus, that would be a low blow. Apparently, Alabama's beating Georgia right now 30-7. Wow, get out of here.
Nice.
James Franks in the chat said the Jets are going to win. Andrew wants to know Eagles or Bucks. We'll be talking about Eagles or Bucks here next, so stay tuned for that. Alpha Rob is picking the Broncos because he cannot pick the Jets.
Woo woo.
Alpha Rob is a Buffalo Bills fan. We have a lot of Buffalo Bills fans in here. Kevin says, I don't believe none of the hype on the New Jersey Jets. They are the Jets. The Jets are going to jet. Now, when people say the Jets are going to jet, obviously we know what that means. They're going to stub themselves in the foot somehow, some way. Mark Sanchez is going to run into the back of the lineman and fall with the ball. Somebody's going to shoot themselves. Something is going to happen, right? Like, at what point does that curse kind of get out of the system? Do the Jets have to win a playoff game? Do they got to win a Super Bowl? Do they got to, I don't know, move to Maine? Like, how can the Jets no longer jet, Mark?
I always say that it comes down to the guy that runs it all, the owner. Like, they have terrible fucking owners, man. They need better owners. Period.
Yeah, the Hard Knocks definitely did not put that owner in a very good light. Let's just be honest. Jameson says Will Levis is dumb as F. His decision-making ability is absolutely atrocious. Kevin says, I hope you're right, Buck. Kevin, did like we just become best friends or what? And Kevin says that's blatantly obvious being puts mayo in his coffee. Yeah, he's definitely he's not very smart on the decision-making. Anthony Brown's in the chat. What's up? Anthony says the Jets are going to win. Andrews thinks the Broncos are going to win. And he also said the Jets are not winning. No way, no how. And then I see a comment like this. The refs won't let the Kansas City Chiefs lose. I've seen this 3 times this year. We're going to talk about the Chiefs, guys, so stay tuned. John says the Jets defense will outperform Denver's defense. See, this is the problem with the Jets defense right now. They have 2 or 3 pass rushers that are out. They're on the IR or season-ending injuries as well. So and
don't forget about Hassan Reddick too.
Yeah, and he is still nowhere to be found. He's going to end up being retired and never set foot on a New York field. But the Jets defense is starting to. Yes, they're still good, but they're thin. They are a thin team right now, defensive wise. Kevin says, I like Bo Nix. If he can develop, he will be fun to watch. He already is fun to watch, too, we'll be honest.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, already kind of fun to watch. Go Bills. Anthony says, Jets are winning. Count on it. And Kevin says, Jets will never stop being the Jets. And Andrew says, I agree, and I'm from Jersey. Wow. That's tough. That is tough. But guys, Broncos versus Jets. Who do you got winning? Next up here on the old pick'ems or the breakdown of today. We have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles right now are 2-1 on the season. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-1 on the season after a terrible loss versus the Denver Broncos last weekend. Currently, Mark, the Philadelphia Eagles have a 62% chance of winning this particular game. So with that being said, Mark, how can the Philadelphia Eagles win this game over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Well, a few things. Number one, I read that Lane Johnson's out, their right tackle. Their offensive line is key to their success. Everything revolves around that. Two, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are both going to be out. So that their third string wide receiver, I don't even know his name. They need to step up and play well for them to win. So yeah, they got some adversity to overcome this game.
Yeah, they have some adversity as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do as well. They have a few injuries piling up for them this weekend as well. But key number one for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is let Baker Mayfield just protect him and let him be a top 10 quarterback that he is. Baker Mayfield, when he has the opportunity to lead you to victories, he is going to lead you to a lot of victories. Just like last season, I said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to win the NFC South. They were going to make some noise, and they were going to make the playoffs. Nobody believed me, and look what happened. This year, I'm telling you again, the Buccaneers are going to make some more noise. 12, 13 wins is not out of the reach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all because of Baker Mayfield. This week versus the Philadelphia Eagles, it is going to start with Baker Mayfield at the helm. Next up is you have to look at the receiver core. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Trey Palmer all need to run nice, crisp routes against this Philadelphia secondary. The Philadelphia secondary stepped up against the Saints, but I don't know if they can sustain that week after week after week. I would like to see the receivers test that. Baker Mayfield and the boys test that over and over again. Next up is turnovers. Obviously, don't turn the ball over. You are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. So, with that being said, Mark, Eagles versus Bucks. Eagles currently have a 62% chance of winning this game on the road versus Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. Who are you picking and why?
I'm going with Philly, and I just think they just have way more talent than Tampa. I think Vita Vea is huge of him being out, because run game is going to be huge. They're going to take advantage of that, Philly will. So, yeah, I'm going with Philly.
So, I want to go with the Bucks, but when I look at the injury roster, Rashid White is questionable. Bucky Irvin is questionable. They have 4 or 5 defensive players that are questionable as well. This concerns me. However, the Eagles have just as many injuries. What concerns me more with the Eagles is the leadership ability. Yes, they did go into New Orleans, and they did play well, but the offense still only scored, 15 points? That offense is not very good right now. Give me the Bucks in this game. Give me the Bucks, and I think I think the Bucks kind of bounce back. 42, 45 points, like a 16. I think the Bucks really flex on the Eagles this week. So, guys, let us know. Let us know in the comments below. Wow emoji for the Eagles. Heart emoji for the Bucks. Who do you got? And Andrew says Philly, Philly, Philly. Give me the Philly special over and over and over again, he says. Kevin Cunny says, go Bucks. Philly is still not done imploding. Kevin, you might be spot on.
I agree with that one too.
Yeah, there's a lot of inner turmoil, and I think Nick, Steph, how do you say his last name?
Sirianni.
Sirianni is going to ultimately get fired by the end of this season. Jameson says Saquon Barkley is going to get his several carries. As long as it's 20, I'm fine with that as well. I have him on a fantasy roster as well. John says Philly wins 31-24. Jameson says Buccaneers should win, but will they? They will win. They will. And he's saying 27-24. Nice little close little game.
I think that's pretty more like that. I'm agree with that score.
Yeah. John says we're froze. I don't think we're froze on any platform, John. I got it pulled up on my computer. Maybe it's your phone. I'm just saying. Andrew says Saquon and Hurts are going to have a great game. But they have to. They have to be able to beat the Bucks. Alpha Rob says Bucks are going to win. Carson Lane says the Bucks are going to take it. Baker has too much of a dog in him to take that second L. Exactly. And Alpha Rob brings up a great point. The Eagles have no receivers playing right now.
No.
AJ Brown's out. I think Smith is questionable, but he's probably going to be out as well. And even the Joe Dotson is questionable as well. I don't know what is wrong with like him, but it is what it is. But Derek's is picking Philly. He thinks they win on the turnovers. So we are pretty much split on that. Very, very, like, we could definitely go deep into that, but I realize we've already been on here for an hour and 15 minutes, Mark. So, and we're not even halfway through. So let's go ahead and start to muster through some of these picks here. Next up, we have the Bengals taking on the Carolina Panthers. The Bengals right now are sitting at 0-3. Wow. Carolina Panthers are 1-2. However, Mark, the Cincinnati Bengals right now are picked at a 64% chance to win this game. How can the Bengals go into Carolina and beat the Panthers this weekend?
Well, this is a must-win for the Bengals. They can't go 0-4. They can't do that. The last time the Cincinnati went 0-4, they ended up going 2-14 and getting Burrow. Wow. So they can't have that happen again. But also, I want to say the reason Burrow is not the reason why they've been losing. He had 324 yards last week, 3 touchdowns. Chase is also not the reason why they've been losing. That guy had 7 targets, 6 receptions, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then also their run game was really going well. They had 124 yards and a touchdown. So the one key that's lacking is their defense. Their defense keeps letting up games. That's the whole big reason why they lost to Kansas City. They gave Mahomes the ball at the end, and they let him run down the field and score. They're the huge reason. So their defense needs to step up.
Yeah, speaking of defense, the key number one for the Carolina Panthers this weekend for me is their defense. Their defense needs to play like they did against the Las Vegas Raiders last week, and they need to basically play a complete game. They gave it 22 points versus the Raiders, and I think if they hold the Bengals under 20 points, they're going to win this game. Next up is the continued growth of Andy Dalton. Yes, I know Andy Dalton is an old vet, but he has not started back-to-back games for 4 years, and that was with the Dallas Cowboys. And then he ultimately ended that game stretch. He had played 3 games in a row, ended it with a concussion that we all thought he was dead on that field. So the continued growth of Andy Dalton is key, but the biggest factor to this game is a step up of their rookie quarterback Leggett. Deontay Johnson is out for this week's game, so it is time for Leggett to really step up and be the guy, because there's no Adam Thielen, there is no Deontay Johnson. It is time for him to be the guy. And so with that being said, Mark, 64% chance for the Bengals to win this game. Who do you got winning this game and why?
I know Andy Dalton played well last week, and they beat the Raiders' ass. Whoop, whoop. I'll take it. But Cincinnati's winning. They're not going 0-4.
And you know what? I want to agree with you. I think the Bengals should win this game. On paper, everything points to them winning this game. But just like the Falcons game that we talked about an hour ago, Carolina got hit hard by that hurricane. Every interstate going into that city is closed down. Now, with that being said, the community is going to rally around the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are going to, string a couple wins together here. Once the Andy Dalton effect runs out, they're going to come crashing back down to reality. They're going to be a 13, 14 loss team this season. But I think they do beat the Cincinnati Bengals this week. The Bengals, much like the Philadelphia Eagles right now, they are self-imploding. They are shooting themselves in the foot. I don't have any faith in the Bengals at all. I don't know if it's Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, the defense, coach, something. I don't have any faith in the Bengals at all. Give me the Panthers in this one. So, guys, let me know. What do you guys think? Bengals or Panthers in this week's game? 0-3 versus 1-2 teams. This game could potentially be the number 1 overall pick. Jameson says if the Bengals lose, they should fire their head coach. Zach Taylor should be fired, he says, if the Bengals lose. Mark? Would you fire?
I don't know. He took him to the Super Bowl, man. I don't know. I wouldn't give up on him yet. He's another guy from the Shanahan tree. I'd give him another chance. I'm not firing him.
Yeah, I don't know. That is tough.
Like I said, their defense is atrocious, man. They need to fix the D.
Yeah, definitely need to fix that D. Kevin says Panthers grabbed the win. Dalton's revenge game versus the Bengals, releasing him on his birthday. Did you know that the Bengals released Andy Dalton on his birthday?
I did not know that. No,
That's a little.
that's kind of low, man.
Like do it the week before.
Couldn't even wait till the day after.
Right, something. Carson says the Bengals are going to get their shit together. Ellen DeGeneres is going to lead them to their first dub of the season. Jameson says,
funny.
Yeah,
He doesn't like Ellen DeGeneres.
I actually shared that on our page, and people were like, now I can't unsee it, whatever. Jameson says the Bengals win 38-17. Derek says the Carolina's offensive line wins it, and that is shocking to me because I have not heard anybody speak positive about the Carolina offensive line at all. It's always been about how bad they've been, and they got 2 starters out as well. So. Both of
He's actually right though. They're one of the top rated right now O-lines. They are
really
because they look what they did to Max Crosby. He didn't do nothing against them.
Well, to be fair, the Chargers did the same thing. Maybe Max Crosby just isn't as good as people say he is. That's
maybe
total myth. Pepe says the Red Rifle puts a dagger in him.
The Red Rifle.
Alpha Rob is taking the Bengals, and Carson says, Buck, I can hear you cheating for my quadriplegic cousin in a foot race till I'm blue in the face. Doesn't mean he's going to start running. So Carson says, you can cheer for all the Panthers you want. The problem is they still suck.
And they still have David Tepper as their owner. So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah. And Alpha Rob says, but the Bengals are a one-hit wonder. Wow. I don't know. I did see a stat where a quarterback that goes to the Super Bowl in a second season and loses never goes back to the Super Bowl. And that's been like, so it's been like Joe Burrow was like the one that they're referring to, and then there was like several others. And
Dan Marino.
Yeah, Dan Marino. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy in that game. But who do you guys got? Bengals or Panthers? Bengals or Panthers? Next up on our breakdown here, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars currently sitting at 0-3, traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. We're sitting at 2-1. Right now, the Houston Texans are at a 61% chance of winning this game. Mark, give me a reason why the Jacksonville Jaguars can go to NRG Stadium this weekend and upset the division rival Houston Texans.
Well, honestly, I don't think they're going to upset them, but these might be some ways that they can do it. Key number 1, they got to slow down CJ Stroud. That guy is phenomenal since he's been a rookie. Got to slow that guy down. 2, their pass defense needs to be better. Josh Allen fucking cooked them for 4 touchdowns, 263 yards. That's got to be better. And last, they got to protect Trevor Lawrence. That guy is getting sacked so much. Last week, there was 4 sacks and 28 attempts. Protect the guy. Let him have some time to throw.
Protection is key. Protection is key, especially for that stereotypical pro quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. But key number 1 for the Houston Texans, I think, this week is Joe Mixon. I think the Houston Texans go as far as Joe Mixon takes them. I think if he strings together a few good games here, they could roll off 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. I think Joe Mixon is key number 1. Key number 2 is that defense. That defense added a lot of pieces this offseason. Alshar Razier, they added Danielle Hunter, and along with the other pieces as well. And that front four with Will Anderson and Mario Edwards is really the key factor for the Houston Texans this game. Get some pressure on Trevor Lawrence and stop Travis Etienne basically before he ever gets started. Next up is the kicking game. I want to see them kick the ball out of the end zone each and every time. the Houston Texans have given up the most yardage on kickoff returns so far this season. So just kick the ball out of the end zone. Do not give the Jacksonville Jaguars any opportunity to have good field position. So with that being said, Mark, Houston Texans do have a 61% chance of winning this game. Jacksonville Jaguars are 0-3. Who do you got winning this game and why?
Even though I had the spiel for Jacksonville, I think Houston's going to win. I just think Jacksonville's playing really terrible right now, and I think out of all the coaches on the hot seat, I think Doug Peterson probably be the hottest.
Yeah, and I believe it was Jameson brought up that if the Bengals start 0-4 this season, they should fire Zach Thomas. I think if the Jacksonville Jaguars start 0-4, Doug Peterson should be fired before he gets back to Jacksonville, Florida the following day. I am taking the Houston Texans in this game. I do think the Houston Texans are better than the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I do think the Houston Texans will eventually take steps back this season. They're not taking steps back versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Unfortunately, the Jaguars are just a bad team right now. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe they need to start Mac Jones. Just put Mac Jones in there. What's the worst thing that can happen? I don't know.
Remember, he's a generational quarterback. You can't take out Trevor Lawrence. You can't do that.
He's also getting paid with $250 million too, at LAC as well. I mean, technically, it'd be dumb to stay him. Let's just be honest. Jameson says the Bengals haven't done shit since the Super Bowl appearance. They haven't. Truth, they haven't. Carson says Texans win unless Houston's team all gets food poisoning. Wouldn't be have you ate in the Houston, Carson? They got some bad food in Houston. Kevin says Texans could sit all their starters and still win. Wow. Insult to injury there. Sheesh. Jameson says Jaguars need to fire their head coach and hire Bill Belichick.
Belichick's not going to Jacksonville. Come on.
I don't think Belichick wants to coach anymore, to be honest.
I don't know. He keeps saying that. I think he just wants to coach for that record, dude. Go and finish Shula's record and then bounce out.
What, he needs 10 wins or 11 wins or something?
Something like that, yeah.
You'd have to be in Jacksonville for 6 years to get 11 wins. So I don't know. Jameson said the Texans win 27-10. And Derek says he's Jags somehow going to Houston and upset them. I mean, in the defense, Derek, this is a divisional game. They do know each other well, and the Jaguars historically do win in Houston. The last 5 years, they have gone in there and they have beat Houston. So Zach Taylor and Doug Peterson should both be fired. Bill Belichick should be hired by one of them, and he needs 17 wins to break the record, says Jameson.
17, okay.
That's still a lot. Let's just be honest.
That is.
But Jaguars or Texans, guys, who do you guys got? Let us know. Next up, this is a game that is low key kind of intriguing to me. This is a game that we will also be streaming on our Discord. If you guys are not a part of the Discord, come on over there and check it out. But we had the Commanders sitting at 2-1 on this season, and the Arizona Cardinals sitting at 1-2. The Arizona Cardinals are at home this week, and they have a 60% chance of winning this game. Mark, tell me how the Arizona Cardinals can win this game.
Okay, so my three keys. Number one, okay, so Jaden Daniels had a breakout game last week. He's the first. So, Buck, I will tell you, you were right. He was the guy that threw the first touchdown out of Caleb, Bo, and him. So you were right about that. So you can't let him have another breakout game. That you can't do that. Two, Kyler Murray needs to play better. He's been playing really good this year. He had a bad game last week. Also, their run game needs to be better. They only had 19 yards rushing, which is absolutely terrible. Third, Marvin Harrison Jr. is coming off a couple of good games. He needs to keep that up. I want to see him have a better game.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. might be one of the bust if he doesn't break out soon, because generational talent, yada yada yada, right? But with that being said, guys, the Washington Commanders are playing some really, really good football right now. They actually have not punted or turned the ball over in 2 straight games. With that being said, they are starting to play a lot more efficiently. Week number 2 versus the Giants, they were in the red zone 7 times and it settled for 7 field goals. Last week versus the Bengals, they ended up scoring 38 points, but their defense could not step up as well. So key number 1 for the Commanders this week is the defense needs to play well. The defense needs to hold the Arizona Cardinals under 20 points and get an interception or 2. Get to Kyler Murray early and often. Rattle that cage. Number 2, I want to see that red zone efficiently, consistently go up. The offense is kind of low key moving the ball at will with Austin Eckler out this week. Brian Robinson Jr. needs to step up and really carry that load. Next up is Jalen Daniels. Continue to do what you're doing, bud. I don't know if Dan Quinn is that quarterback whisperer or if it's Lane Kiffin or whoever the offensive of coordinator is. He's doing something right. So Jalen Daniels, keep doing you and doing well. So Mark, Cardinals do have a 6% chance of winning this home game versus the Commanders. Nobody really expected the Commanders to be 2-1, really competing for anything right now, but they are leaders of the NFC East. But who do you got winning this game and why?
I'm going Arizona. I just think that they're going to get back on track. And I think Washington, like you said, they're not going to be a good team. They had a really good game last week, but I just feel like Arizona is going to get back on track and they're going to win. And that would be really good for my fantasy because I got Murray.
and I coach with a guy that is a huge Washington Commanders fan. Back in August, he's like, Jaden Daniels going to win Rookie of the Year. I'm like, no, it's going to be, Harrison or Neighbors or Bo Nix, somebody, anybody but Jaden Daniels. But right now, Jaden Daniels is playing really, really good. He reminds me of C.J. Stroud from last season, right? He is playing well out of his mind. He's not making mistakes. He's not making stupid mistakes. And he's really actually reading the defense. But the Cardinals, they are low-key pretty good. They are low-key kind of going to roll off 7, 8, 9 wins this season. I think one of them do come to the Commanders. I think the Commanders just aren't ready to really compete in that primetime slot per se, week after week after week. And I think the Cardinals do get them. So, guys, let us know, Commanders or Cardinals in the chat below. Both of us are taking the Cardinals.
Shane Steichen is a low-key good coach, man. And him and Murray is a good fit.
Yeah, and I like how Kyler Murray kind of called out Harrison Jr. Like, my job isn't to force feed you the ball. Get open, right? And I like how they're holding each other accountable. Like, that's really, really good. Alpha Rob says the Cardinals are slightly better. Slightly better. Okay. Derek says we are about to see if the problem was Kyler Murray or Cliff Kingsbury. Who do you think the problem is? Was it Murray or Cliff Kingsbury?
I don't know. Kingsbury's in Washington now, and look what Jaden Daniels is doing. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's also an offensive coordinator, wasn't the head coach. So.
Right. But I mean, he's helping the development of both those guys.
Yeah. Maybe he's just not meant to be a head coach. I don't know. There are some people just not meant to be head coaches. Speaking of head coaches, the new England Patriots got a new head coach this offseason in Gerard Mayo, and many people expected them to go 0-17. My man Wayne G was like, nope, they suck. But opening night, they beat the Bengals, sitting them to a 1-2 record so far this season. And the San Francisco 49ers right now are sitting at 1-2 as well this season, riddled with injuries. Right now, the 49ers are projected to win at a 78% rate. Mark, give me a reason why the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this game.
Well, the Patriots are coming off a really terrible loss to Rodgers and the Jets, and I feel like that was kind of really embarrassing for them because they don't really lose. They haven't really lost the Jets in like a long ass time. So I think that's a big thing. 2, Brock Purdy needs to keep playing like he's been playing. Like the last 2 weeks, he didn't have CMC, Debo, and Kittle, and they've been winning games. They lost to the Rams last week, but it came down to the wire. So he needs to still keep playing that, like keep playing ball, not relying on weapons, keep doing what you're doing. Lastly, the pass defense needs to overcome, like Hargrave is out. He's one of their best pass rushers, and that's going to hurt them. So they need to overcome that, and other guys got to step up.
Defense is going to be key for the New England Patriots this weekend. Defense has kind of been a staple for the Patriots the last couple seasons. Last season, Christian Gonzalez was about to go off, and then he ultimately tore his ACL, I believe it was. Christian Gonzalez is finally starting coming back into his own. I want to see that secondary really shut down the secondary of the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, the 49ers are riddled with injuries. I think George Kittle is going to be out this game. Debo is potentially going to be out. Brandon Ayuk is questionable as well with a ankle. But with that being said, I want to see the secondary of the Patriots shut down the wide receivers / tight ends of the San Francisco 49ers. Defense is going to be the key for the Patriots, play after play, series after series. Next up, Jacoby Brissett needs to continue to kind of manage the game. Give the ball to Stevenson 15, 20, 30 times a game. Run him into the dirt. You still have Antonio Gibson there. You still have Hasty. You have a kind of have a three-headed monster. Let them run the ball over and over and over and over again. Really test that front four of the San Francisco 49ers defense. I think if the secondary can shut down the receivers and the Patriots can effectively run the ball this game, they can win this game. With that being said, 49ers do have a 78% chance win probability in this game. Mark, can the Patriots upset the 49ers?
I'm going to say no. Like I said, I think even despite the Niners injuries, they're still going to beat the Patriots. I'm going with the 49ers.
And as much as I want to go with the Patriots, there's a reason why we have them starting 0-4, 0-5. Not because they're a bad defensive team, because their offense is lackluster. There's a reason why they were in the Brandon Ayuk talks. There's a reason why they were looking everywhere for a receiver. Nobody's like, nah, I don't want to go to New England. Their offense is anemic. 49ers win by probably 25 points in this game. This is a bounce back game for the 49ers. I don't think the Patriots have have a shot. With that being said, we've seen this NFL season so far. Upsets across the board. It would not shock me if they do win. But guys, let us know. Patriots or 49ers in the comments below. Let us know. John is saying go ahead.
Do we see Drake May this week?
We do not. I don't think you throw him against the 49ers defense. We will not see Drake May till week 7. Because I believe their bye week's week 6, I want to say. Can't remember exactly when the bye week is. I believe it's early. After the bye week is when we see Drake May. After the bye week. John says 49ers 38-16. Derek says 49ers, Brock Purdy has that chip on his shoulder. Jameson confirmed that George Kittle and Debo are both playing. That is huge for the 49ers. I think. Yeah. I
Brock's probably happy.
Yeah, Kittle is definitely the heart and soul of that team, 100%. Alpha Rob is saying 49ers. Jameson says Ayuk is fine. He just needs to stop dropping the damn ball. No more dropping the ball. Purdy has been awesome, but the defense and special teams for 49ers have been horrid. Which is weird because every time we think of the 49ers, we think of that front seven, right? That powerful front seven defense game after game, week after week. Carson says the 49ers are going to win, but fuck them. Fuck them. Kevin Cummings says getting a big name receiver would never save the Patriots whatsoever. It would have helped the offense a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't have saved them, but it would have made it a little bit more competitive. I think.
Dude, their number one receiver is KJ Osborne. Who the fuck is KJ Osborne?
Who?
Yeah.
Is he related to the Osbornes from like Kelly and?
No, the dude's black, bro. Like, no.
James says Juwan Jennings and Mason and Purdy and Ayuk and Kittle are all still there. Okay. That doesn't mean nothing. Brandon Ayuk is a factor. But he's saying 49ers 31-17. John says we will not see Drake May unless Brissett goes down.
He came in mop-up duty last week. I mean, it could happen. We could see him.
So this is the reason why I say, because when we broke down the Patriots back in June or whatever it was, I said we will not see Drake May till like week 7 because of the stretch of opponents that the Patriots have earlier this season. They have the Bengals, the Seahawks, Jets, 49ers, Miami, Houston. I thought Jacksonville would have been the perfect game to come in and kind of get your feet wet a little bit, mainly because it is overseas. It's in London, I think it is, and it gives you time to like really incorporate yourself like after that fact. But I don't know. I don't anticipate seeing Drake May anytime soon. And this game is very intriguing to me as well, Mark. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns sitting at 1-2. Taking on the Las Vegas Raiders that are 1-2 as well. Cleveland currently, per ESPN API, has a 53% chance of winning this weekend's game. Mark, with that being said, tell me how the Cleveland Browns can go into Las Vegas, into Allegiant Stadium, and beat the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, it shouldn't be too hard to beat them because I read Devontae Adams is out. Max Crosby is out. So they're like best offensive weapon and their best defensive weapon are out. So they shouldn't have a hard time winning this game. But Cleveland, their pass defense needs to be better. They let Daniel Jones throw for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. That guy's absolutely terrible, and you're going to let him have a game like that? Also, Malik Neighbors had 2 touchdowns for 78 yards. Got to shut that down. And so, 2, since the Adams is out, Jacoby Myers is going to get all the looks. Got to watch him. Like, he's going to be literally their only offensive weapon. Raiders are trash. I've said it numerous times. And especially with Adams out, you got to watch that guy. Lastly, Cleveland's pass rush has to be better. Like, they had only 2 sacks last game. Myles Garrett didn't record one. That guy needs to step up. That needs to be better.
I see everything that you're saying, and injuries do suck for the Raiders right now, having their best receiver out and Devontae Adams does suck. But this gives an opportunity for Brock Bowers to step up and show that he could potentially take over the tight end eliteness class that he is. I think Brock Bowers has a great game, has to have a great game to compete with the Cleveland Browns defense this particular week. Next up is Jahmyr White. I think they have to have a solid running game. Myles Garrett is about 70% coming into this game, so Browns have a lot of injuries as well. Let's exploit that. Let's exploit that weakness that Myles Garrett is going to have out there. Run right at him and see exactly how healthy is. I think Jahmyr White gets a healthy dose of touches this week, especially with Devontae Adams out. Next up is Gardner Minshew has to not suck. Gardner Minshew sucked last week. I mean, just like I've been telling you guys all season, Gardner Minshew isn't the guy. If Gardner Minshew does not suck, they could potentially beat the Cleveland Browns. But Mark, with that being said, the Cleveland Browns do have a 53% chance of winning this game. Guys, in the comments below, wow emoji or hearty emoji for the Raiders and wow emoji for the Browns. Mark, who do you got win this game and why?
Come on, you know the answer to this one, man. I'm going with Cleveland because fuck the Raiders.
Because fuck the Raiders. And as much as I want to go against the Raiders, Deshaun Watson just does not look very good. He has spurts of greatness. He has spurts of his 2018 self. He has spurts of it, but he also has spurts coming out of his penis over and over again. And when you have that coming out of you, you don't want to be in Vegas. But Max Crosby being out is a huge blow for the Raiders defense. And I don't know if the Raiders can overcome that. They can overcome Devontae Adams. They can overcome Michael Mayer. They can overcome Jeff Foreman. But Max Crosby is a player that I don't think you can really overcome. He is the heart and soul of that defense, and teams scheme around to run away from him. I am taking the Browns in this one, and I think it's a nasty game. 28-24, 28-25. It's just a weird game, but I am taking the Browns. I'm taking the Browns. Alpha Rob says Raiders because Watson is trash.
Yeah, dude's lost all his confidence, man. All that sexual shit that he did, it's made him lose his confidence.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
Yeah, confidence is key in the NFL. All the players on the same level. That's why they are in the NFL. But confidence definitely usually puts you over the top. John is taking the Raiders 21-17. That is a homer pick, 100%. Jameson says the Raiders have no chance. No Adams, no Crosby.
Yep.
Give me the Browns. Give me the Browns. Kevin says the Browns are horrible. They will find a way to lose.
I can see that also, to be honest.
And honestly, the Browns just need to survive. They need to give Jerome Ford. Is that his name? Jerome? Yeah, I think it's Ford. They need to give Ford the ball, because what was so effective with the Browns last season, Mark, was that 1-2 punch at running game that they had. They had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb running at you over and over and over again. Nick Chubb should be back come week 5. So weather the storm with like Ford for one more week, get his confidence up, and then you could have a nice little 1-2 punch with Ford and Chubb. But yeah, Browns are just not very good right now. But I got to go with the Browns. Carson says Raiders are going to win. The Browns hired Ken Dorsey as offensive coordinator. If Josh Allen couldn't succeed with him, Deshaun ain't going to do shit.
I would agree with that.
There's a reason why he was fired mid-season last year. George is playing like shit, says Jameson. And Kevin says there's a lot of AFC West hate. No. We just hate the Raiders.
Yes.
We just hate
the
Raiders,
guy.
Just the Raiders. Derek says battle of the bandages. Raiders win big. Cleveland O-line is sad. Yeah, they are pretty bad. Jalen Bunsen enthusiast wants to know Eagles or Bucks. We actually broke that down a little while ago. Mark, you took the Bucks, right?
No, Philly.
Oh, Philly. So yeah, I'm taking the Bucks because they're better than the Eagles. The Eagles just suck. And Jalen says go Birds, go Birds, go Birds, go Birds. Jameson says Raiders should trade Michael Myers.
They get some for him.
And Adams. And Max
Adams
Crosby.
could go to New York and reunite with Rodgers.
Yeah, so they can tear Achilles on that terrible ass turf. Madison is going to eat for the Raiders too. Is he though? I don't know. Jameson says Browns win 17-0. And then John is calling you a horse's ass, Mark. So
oh, because I spoke badly about his Raiders. My bad, John.
Yeah. I mean, if the Raiders are bad, they're they're bad. All the starters on the Raiders offensive line is back, says Derek. So that is a good sign, I guess. The problem is you still have Gardner Minshew as your quarterback.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Kevin
or
Cummings,
Aiden O'Connell.
I would rather take child molester porn stash over Gardner Minshew. I'm just saying. Kevin Cummins says Raiders 13-10.
I can see a score like that.
Yeah, he could definitely be a low scoring affair, a 100%. And John says, "Welcome to Queef and Horse's Ass Show, Raiders Nation for life."
I'm sorry, John, that we're shitting on your Raiders. I'm sorry, bro.
I mean, facts are facts. But speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs right now are sitting at 3-0 on this young season with wins over the Bengals, Raiders, and Falcons, and the LA Chargers sitting at 2-1. Going into this weekend's game, the Chiefs have a 63% chance of winning this weekend's game. Mark, give me a reason why the Chargers can beat the Kansas City Chiefs in this game.
All right, so my keys to the game. Number one, the Chargers cannot let Rashid Rice have a big day. He is literally their best offensive weapon. Right now, he leads the NFL in yak and in missed tackles forced. So the guy's been on fire. So you can't let him get going because last week he had 288 receiving yards. Can't let that happen. Also, I'm not sure if you knew this, Buck, but Kelsey kind of has the Chargers number. And the last time he averages 128 yards against them since 2021. So the dude's a Charger killer. So you can't let him get going. So those are the two keys. You don't let those guys get going, you might have a chance.
I see that. But the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game, and here is why. They do have one of the best receiving cores all of NFL. They have Rashid Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Justin Watson. Also, they still have Juju and Sky Moore as well. And oh, by the way, Hollywood Brown is still on the IR. We have yet to see the Kansas City Chiefs play a complete game from start to finish. So key number one to beating the Chargers this week is to play a complete game. I want to see the Chiefs play decent football from quarter one to quarter number 4. Number 2 is they do not need to force feed the running backs the ball. They have Carson Steele, P. Ryan, and Kareem Hunt. Many fans are going to want to see Kareem Hunt get the ball over and over and over again. Do not force feed him the ball. Let Carson Steele still be your workhorse, and they're going to win this game. Next up is get into Justin Herbert early. I want to see 6 to 7 guys pressuring Justin Herbert their first quarter. He has a high ankle sprain with that plantar fasciitis is flaring back up again. I want to see him test that ankle. Put pressure on him over and over and over again. If you do that, I think the Kansas City Chiefs can win this game. So, Mark, with that being said, the Chiefs do have a 63% chance of winning this particular game. They're at LA. Who wins this game and why?
Man, I gotta tell you, man, KC, they potentially could be 0-3, but they're not. They're 3-0, and they haven't played their best football. So it's like you said, they need to get it all like a complete game going. I feel like this is the time they do it because the Chargers, their big key is running the ball, and KCD is really good at stopping the run game. So I feel like they're gonna shut down J.K. Dobbins, and they're gonna have that complete game that you want. So I'm going KC.
Yeah, and I'm going to Kansas City Chiefs as well. Not because they're my home. They're my team. They're my hometown team. It's because Justin Herbert is only going to be about 60 to 70% in this game. The Chargers will go as far as a healthy Justin Herbert will take them. I actually talked about this on Thursday's show, whether or not the Chargers should actually protect Justin Herbert from himself and sit them this game because they got a bye week coming up next week, 2 weeks to fully heal. The Chargers have a nice little run, but I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game because Justin Herbert is hobbled, and oh, by the way, Derwin James is out as well from that head-to-head contact on the Pittsburgh Steelers tied end. So guys, in the comments below, let us know who wins this game, the Chiefs or the Chargers. Battle of the AFC West, first place on the line. Kevin Cummings says the Chiefs win and the refs get the game ball.
Got nothing to say, Buck.
Fuck you guys. Jameson says Herbert has a high ankle sprain. He does, and he re-aggravated that plantar fasciitis. John says, against my better judgment, the Chiefs win 27-14. A PA call to put them in field goal range to end the game. Oh, don't hate. I guess I don't know. Carson Lang says Rice was able to run from the cops. Now he's going to get away with now he can get away with anyone. Changers are too banged up. Chiefs are going to win. Not wrong.
Speaking of which, that guy shouldn't be playing. He's a felon, man.
He hasn't been charged yet. He hasn't been charged.
I don't care, man. Seriously, he shouldn't be playing.
Then if you want to do that route, half of the NFL shouldn't be playing. Addison for the Vikings literally fell asleep at the wheel driving drunk. He's still playing. That's a felony, right?
I don't know, man. I'm just saying nobody's talking about it. It's like this guy could be facing like 8 felonies and nobody's saying anything about it because it's the Chiefs.
No, it's because, let's just be honest, he is a professional athlete and he gets swept under the rug. I mean,
yes,
like,
definitely.
I mean, like, it is what it is. I believe somebody asked about a Diddy party earlier. When you're on high, just get swept under the rug, right? It just, things happen. Alpha Rob says Chargers. Chiefs should have lost at Atlanta. Why should they have lost at Atlanta, Alpha Rob? If you are talking about the personal or the pass interference call on that same play, B. John Robertson is holding, I believe, it was a Chiefs safety. He was literally holding him so he couldn't get over to cover him anyways. But whatever. A win's a win, baby. Derek says Reed and Harbaugh back at it. 49er Eagle beef back. Forgot about that. They had the 49er Eagle beef back in the day. I forgot about that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. I did not know.
That was a long
Interesting.
that was a long time. Jameson is picking the Chiefs 38-14. Wow. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But damn. Pepe says if the Chiefs can stop the run game and keep the Chargers on 3rd and long, they will win. Chiefs defense gets the dub.
Chiefs defense has been getting the dub all 3 games they've won.
And you want to know what you want to know what's funny about that, Mark? The Chiefs defense right now is ranked 25th in the league.
Really?
And they're not even performing at a top 10 level. Derek says I don't think Reed is used to playing someone great at end time adjustments. What? I don't think Reed is used playing someone to get inside adjustments. I don't know what you're trying to say. Do you know what he's trying to say, Mark?
They're both really good coaches, man. He can make I feel like a lot of good coaches making game adjustments, but we'll see. I feel like they're both really good coaches, so it should be a good game.
Everybody but Harbaugh for the Ravens can make in-game adjustments, and Kyle Shanahan out-coaches himself usually. Carson says Buck is only mad about the rest comments because he knows it's true. Carson, let me tell you a story. Thursday night, so 2 nights ago, we are playing our final high school game of the regular season. We are on the road versus Browntown. This is a big rivalry for us, and usually Browntown kind of beats us, right? They're just better. They're bigger, faster, stronger, whatever. We are up 14-12 with 3 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. The referee, I shit you not, middle of the game, Mark, changes the rules. Okay? We're out there milking the clock. We're just running it, nickel and dime it down the field. We are content with not getting another first down. All of a sudden, the play clock goes from 40 seconds to 25 seconds. I remind you, this has been 25 seconds the whole game. Horse shit. The first quarter, 12-minute quarters, Brownstown had the ball the entire first quarter and didn't score a touchdown. How is that possible with 25-second play clock? Whatever. Fuck the rest.
We got some scandalous shit going on in Little League football, bro.
No, this is high school football, man.
Oh, high school, bad.
Yeah, I'm a high school head like head coach. James is in the chat. What's up, James? He says, I feel like this is a trap game for Kansas City.
Could be a division game, maybe.
See, the Chiefs always play well in California. Now, if this was at home, I could see the Chargers coming into Arrowhead and being a trap game. But the fact that they're traveling, I don't see it as a trap game at all. Pepe says the Chiefs win and a dink and dunk. Everyone tears for fun. Chiefs win and drink. Everyone tears for fun. I like it. Kevin says, let Rice play until he's charged. He's on my fantasy team.
Of course.
Yeah, see, like that is kind of the problem that we face, right? Because he doesn't have court till like next June or July. So,
right. But it's kind of a double standard, Buck. Because if it was domestic violence charges, he would definitely be out. No matter if he's charged yet or not. But because it's not domestic, that's why they're letting him play.
I mean, and then people would say, "Oh, it's just because of the Chiefs." Yada yada yada. Well, Addison is playing still, And how about the Seattle Seahawks lineman that like literally killed his girlfriend, and he played for 6 weeks after the fact. So, but Carson says Watson wasn't charged, and he only allegedly felt someone or 38 someone's up for a year.
He was also he's suspended for a whole year. Don't forget about that.
Well, so he was not charged, but he was not criminally charged, but what is the civil suits? So it is all about image at the end of the day, right? Have you already talked about the Browns? We have talked about the Browns, and they beat the Raiders. We actually literally just talked about them. Kevin says it's bullshit about Rice because they purposely pushed back the court date till after the season.
Oh,
so it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. But Mark, the final game of this beautiful Week 4 NFL Sunday edition games is we do have the Buffalo Bills taking at 3-0 on this season, taking on the 1-2 Baltimore Ravens at Baltimore. Right now, the Buffalo Bills have a 55% chance per ESPN API to win this game. Mark, give me some reasons why the Buffalo Bills can go into Baltimore and upset the Ravens.
Well, here's my three keys. Buffalo's defense needs to slow down Lamar and Derrick Henry. Both of them had career games last week. Jackson had 87 yards and a touchdown. Henry had 25 attempts for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they got to slow that down. Also, if Buffalo wants to win, Josh Allen has to keep playing like an MVP. I think there's a funny word that I've listened to on one of my shows that they use. They say MVP. I feel like Josh Allen right now is the MVP, and he needs to keep playing like that. And then also their running game is playing really well. James Cook had 39 rush yards.
Season, the defense has kind of let them down. The defense for the Baltimore Ravens has kind of been that staple year after year after year after year. So key number one to beat the Buffalo Bills for the Baltimore Ravens is that defense has to step up. We were talking about how deep the Ravens defense was earlier this season, that their number twos were just as good as the number ones on every other team. Right now, they're not playing like that. They need to step up, and they need to play like the Baltimore Ravens defense like they have been doing. Trenton Smith definitely needs to step up and really fill that Patrick Queen role this game. Next up is I want to see Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers really start to exploit, right? I want them to exploit that Buffalo Bills new secondary. I believe the Buffalo Bills have like 18 new starters this season. Something crazy. Exploit that secondary. Make them earn those dollar bills, yo. So Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman need to go off for the Baltimore Ravens to have a chance against the Buffalo Bills. So, Mark, with that being said, the Bills have a 55% chance of beating the Ravens. Who do you got in this game and why?
This one was tough. They both are playing really well, and I think it's really hard for me to decide on either side. So I think I'm just going to go with the Ravens because they're at home.
And I want to shit on the Buffalo Bills because Kevin's in there, Carson's in here, Alvin Rob's in like in here. Tons of Buffalo Bills fans that are in here, but the September MVP or Sep MVP that they said, Josh Allen gets it year after year after year. Early in the season, Josh Allen always puts the team on his shoulders, and they do well. When I spoke about the Buffalo Bills this offseason, I was worried about that young receiving core. I was not expecting Josh Allen to step up and drag the receiving core along. I was not expecting that. Right now, the Buffalo Bills have earned their 3-0 keep. The defense is playing well. The offense is like playing well. And yeah, I think James Cook just scored another rushing touchdown on the Dallas Cowboys from last season. So I think that Josh Allen and James Cook is going to run all over the Baltimore Ravens defense this particular game. And I think the Buffalo Bills go into Baltimore Sunday Night Football, and they beat the Ravens. And then we are seeing we're seeing Ant coming on Monday's show and fire Harbaugh. He's terrible. He's terrible. We suck. And the world is going to be on fire because the Ravens are now 1-3. The Ravens are going through growing pains right now, and they need to figure it out. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills, and they'll be 4-0 after Sunday night's game. So, guys, in the comments below, who do you guys got? Kevin says the Buffalo Bills are going to win. Carson Lang says the Buffalo Bills are going to beat that ass, yo. Jameson said the Ravens are going to win 24-21. John says Baltimore 35-31. I don't think it's going to be that high of scoring a game, but it could be. Pepe says Lamar is winning the game for 58 minutes, then Lamar's it away. Oh, okay. Or just to pull a 13 seconds, because I know Alpha Rob's watching, and I made him a Buffalo Bills 13-second shirt when Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs scored him on 13 seconds to beat him in the AFC Championship game. Maybe it's 59 minutes in 48 seconds. that Mars does well. Kevin Cummings says Ravens had the 32nd ranked pass-ranked defense. Ouch.
Eek.
Ouch. And they had arguably the best secondary on paper in the AFC North. Wow, that is terrible. Carson Lang says the reason why Lamar and Henry ran good on Dallas defense is because their defense isn't set up to defend the run. Bills are going to make Lamar beat them with his arm, and he won't.
Oh.
Not wrong. Alpha Rob says the Bills 38-20. Minshew ate him up. What Allen going to do to them? Not wrong. And he also says the Buffalo Bills secondary will shut down the Ravens receiver like they shut down everyone else's receivers. Jameson says Justin Tucker's going to drill a 50-yard field goal for the win. I believe I saw a stat where Justin Tucker's missed like 5 straight field goals so far.
Yeah, he's been off this year.
Yeah.
That guy's usually on it. This year he's been terrible, dude. For real.
Yeah. And Von Miller's back being Von Miller again, says Alpha Rob. It's about time.
He is.
He's getting paid a lot of money. It's about time he's not sucking.
He needs to eat greedy.
Yeah. And Kevin says, so you were expecting them to suck. Just say it. I remember you saying, eat your words like a man. I did not say the Buffalo Bills were going to suck. I just said they were going to not be as great as everybody thought they were. I'm pulling up my predictions right now, and I actually have the Buffalo Bills going 9-8 this season. I mean, that's not terrible. That is potentially a playoff team, but I did not have them starting the season off 0-3 or 3-0. Of course.
Do you want a mulligan on that one, Book?
No, I don't, because they have when you look at the Buffalo Bills schedule, it does get tougher, right? They played the Arizona Cardinals week 1. We thought the Arizona Cardinals weren't going to be bad, which they are. They played Miami. I actually had them losing to Miami that Thursday night game. That's the game that Tua went, right? And the Buffalo Bills actually just destroyed the Dolphins. That's the one game I was wrong. The Buffalo Bills destroyed Jacksonville last week, but then they played the Texans. I mean, obviously they play the Ravens this week, but then they play the Texans. They play the Jets. They play the Colts. They play the Chiefs. They play the 49ers, the Lions, and Patriots and Jets back weeks. I mean, their schedule gets tougher. Like, I'm not saying they're a bad team. They got a tough schedule, and Kevin's like 9-8 is a shitty number. LOL. They get at least 11 wins. By them beating Miami week 2, I would say 10 wins, but like it's not going to be 12, 13, 14 wins. They're going to be battling for a wild card spot. That's just the way it is. And Alpha Rob says, can't wait till they beat the ball dropping crybaby Diggs in a couple weeks. That is going to be a great game.
Yeah.
But guys, that is going to be it for tonight's show. We were on here for 2 hours, man.
Damn, I can't believe people dealt with us for that long.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely appreciate you guys. But guys, there's still time to enter in the Week 4 NFL Pick'em. Click on the Google Docs form in the description below. If you win this week, you get an NFL jersey of your choice. And if you enter in all year, there's a grand prize of potential $2,000. So right now we have a 3-way tie for first place for the $2,000 grand prize, about 20 wins apiece. So there's still time to jump in there. Still time to win those dollar bills, y'all. But week 4 NFL Pick'em, NFL jersey, click on the link below. Mark, send us out, big guy.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this late Saturday night, breaking down all the games. I hope everybody has fun watching all the games. I'm going to be having 4 games on at once. I don't know about you. Everybody have fun tomorrow.
And we out. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Yeah. Yeah, well, we definitely sped up the last hour because we talked like 6 games for the first, I don't know,